Vaporgate. This is an interesting word within the world of vaping and political discourse. Vaporgate. The sheer suggestion of it indicates manipulation and disinformation coming from our political establishment. FDA and CDC have said that the lung illnesses are related to black market THC and tied it to the vaping industry. As of October 9th, 2019, articles and news media have been pushing a false narrative about the so-called vaping epidemic. The research that the CDC conducted was a study in 2018 that found a 78% rise in vaping in U.S. high schoolers 15 to 18 years of age. This information was then offered as fact to the press, who ran with it and sent many parents into a scared frenzy, along with the general public, followed by the self-righteous politicians looking to scare people into voting for them. And I quote, according to Australian Tobacco Harm Reduction Association, the study that found that in never smokers, regular vaping was rare. Nicotine addiction was minimal, and great majority of smokers used tobacco before trying vaping. To be specific, the results indicated that only 8.4% of teens who had never smoked had vaped within the last 30 days. Of those teens, only 1% were regular vapers. These numbers indicate that the health crisis involving teen vape usage simply isn't true. In fact, teens in the United States are much more likely to partake in other risky behaviors such as drinking, texting while driving, and using cannabis. UK researchers also found that most teens smoke before vaping, which means that cigarettes present a much bigger threat to teens than vaping. In my viewpoint, teens that want to vape do not like smoking cigarettes, which are illegal for them to have in the first place. However, no politician or parent or self-righteous group will fight big tobacco because of the large amount of money involved. Smoking kills over 500,000 people each year, and flavor vaping helps those wanting to stop smoking, helps in that very area. But since no truth organization will report this in their findings because there is no money in telling the truth, we are saddled with the issue that 1,300 people every day are killed by smoking. Lobbyists of big tobacco are in deep with many of the political elites as they see themselves. These political leaders use slanted information that is hastily and poorly researched as a foundation to scare and manipulate the people for their own agenda, which to many is known as keeping their pockets filled with tobacco money. Many who have approached and spoke at many meetings about the truth and the facts of vaping end up receiving rolling eyes and uninterested members who make the lives of Americans livable. In other words, the facts and the truth fall on deaf ears. Many of our legislators have no idea or even care enough to research the data that they are forcing on everyday Americans, and those effects will be reverberated around the globe. The CDC and FDA and many of our government leaders stand on their soapbox and preach about health and well-being of the people, and yet destroy an industry that really does help those who want to stop smoking or give them a better alternative to smoking. It seems like on a daily basis the FDA approves another drug for human consumption, and within 6 months the lawyers are suing the pharmaceutical companies for killing by the way of that very drug the FDA approved. The FDA and CDC and Big Tobacco are trying to impose a required PMTA, pre-market tobacco application, on the vaping industry, which will result in a cost of an estimated $2.5 million and $3.5 million for just 5 flavors. Where does the so-called epidemic of youth vaping fall according to current issues for youth health? If you believe the CDC and the FDA, then you better know their data. 14% of the youth taking painkillers with a prescription, or 24.6% are texting and driving. How about the 29.8% of youth are drinking alcohol while underage? Followed by 7.4% had attempted suicide and 19% who had been bullied in our schools. But these issues do not have a financial effect on the pockets of the political elite, who rather would have Americans die from tobacco than empty their pockets of the tons of cash being handed to them by Big Tobacco. Since flavor banning is a political ploy to keep Big Tobacco lining their pockets and the media using our children to keep money in their pockets, it seems fitting to call this travesty of injustice of the American people a gate. If you truly want to change the minds of the politicians, you must not hit them over the head with facts, because they do not care. You must show the people that smoking is killing the people of the United States, and vaping is a path to freeing these people from the bonds of Big Tobacco. The VTA has stood in front of many political slugs and spewed the truth about vaping. But since the media said that our politicians allowing vaping, then they are killing children, which anyone with a brain knows this is far from the truth. This goes out to all the vaping communities. Politicians live in the world of egos and money and image. If you do not fit their views or image or can line their pockets, they will sweep you under the rug and haul you out with the trash. The pressure you put forth is important, but more will get done if you pressure your local leaders. You must follow through with that pressure. If you tell them you will not vote for them and then turn around and vote them back in, you have sold out to Big Tobacco. This flavor ban that is being imposed on American business and the people of this great country is a direct result of non-action of those who want to live their life as they see fit. Our politicians will allow our youth to go fight to secure the freedom in this country. Politicians do not care about the flavor ban. All they care about is looking bad. Once they jumped on the bandwagon of some idiot who hates the freedom of this country and vaping, started the flavor ban issue. And once a politician jumped on this wagon, they cannot get off because they do not want to look bad in the public's eye. Making a good decision is not in the mental capacity of many political leaders who want to keep their jobs. So they will bow to the money, to the pressure of the media who wants to pervert the freedoms of America and the right to vape without having to smoke a cigarette. Vaporgate.